Hello, Morongo Basin, and listeners around the world online at Z107.7fm.com. Here is the Z107.7 local news for Monday, March 24th, 2025. Deputies with the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department responded to a violent incident at Yucca Valley High School. On Friday at around 10:30 a.m., deputies, along with officers from the California Highway Patrol, responded to a report of a fight involving several students at Yucca Valley High School. Deputies say that school staff broke up the fight prior to law enforcement's arrival, but that as students were escorted to the school's office, a crowd of students followed and another altercation began, causing school staff to intervene once again. Deputies say that the San Bernardino County Fire Department provided medical attention to some students. Deputies identified a male juvenile who assaulted a female juvenile, which initiated the initial confrontation. A representative from the Morongo Unified School District described the incident as a multi-student fight. They said, quote, "The situation was brought under control and there was increased law enforcement presence on campus throughout the day to ensure the safety of students and staff. The investigation is ongoing and no arrests have yet been made." Recent changes to the Federal Department of Education will not significantly impact Copper Mountain College, according to a statement issued by the school on Friday. An executive order from President Donald Trump on Thursday initiates the complete dismantling of the Federal Department of Education. It was also announced that the oversight of federal student loans and special needs and nutrition programs will be overseen by other federal agencies. Copper Mountain College Superintendent Daryl Otten released a statement saying, quote, "While the full impact of these actions is still uncertain, I want to provide reassurance. CMC operates independently of significant federal funding, and federal dollars make up only a small portion of the California Community College's annual budget. Although the loss of any funding presents challenges, our system is well prepared to continue serving our students and communities without major disruption." The city of 29 Palms is growing, and part of that growth is a booming small business scene. On a recent episode of the Z107.7 Up Close show, host Gary Daigneault spoke with 29 Palms City Manager Stone James about the process for opening a small business within city limits and how city officials have tried to streamline that process for new business owners.
A business comes to 29 Palms. First, they determine whether they want to build a new building or go into an existing building.
That's right.
They would then go to the planning department.
Correct.
And the planning department would go over their plan with them and see what's going to work. What is the process?
So then what they'll do is they will take a look at, is this a by right use? And so is the use that they are contemplating, is it consistent with the zoning? And if it's consistent with the zoning that they can process, they're going to need a business license. They're going to need some plans on what type of exterior facade that they're going to do, and they can move forward. Now, if it's going to potentially have a zone change, or if it's going to require maybe a conditional use permit, then that is going to require now a discretionary approval, which means it would have to go before the Planning Commission.
So if I decide to put a retail business in a store. In a storefront that was a retail business that is in an area that's zoned for retail,
yes,
it's pretty easy.
Pretty easy.
You just rent it and just start your business.
Yep. And so, then that our community development department will walk you through the process. Right. You're going to have to interact with the building and safety, make sure it's up to code, make sure it's consistent with all the fire regulations in the state of California, which are pretty onerous. And so we help guide them through the process.
So if there's a zoning change or some sort of change of use, that's when the devil jumps up, and now you've got to that's got to go through the Planning Commission.
Correct. Yeah, it goes from an administrative process to now a discretionary approval process, right? And so that's when you would then ultimately continue to work with the Planning Department, and then ultimately go before the Planning Commission, and then that would be your opportunity to communicate to the Planning Department why you think that this use is compatible with the surrounding uses.
Now, I know the city recently has taken some big steps to make it easier and more friendly for small business to open in 29 Palms.
Correct.
You can hear their full conversation by listening to the Z107.7 Up Close show as a podcast at our website or wherever you get your podcasts. There's a nail trim only clinic today at the Animal Action League. From 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., you can get your dog or cat's nails trimmed for just $8 a pet. No vaccine or microchip services will be available during today's clinic. No appointment is necessary. For more information, you can call 760-366-1100. The Animal Action League reserves the right to refuse pets or owners based on temperament. They're located at 627-6229 Palms Highway The 29 Palms Youth Council has organized a brand new event, the 29 Palms City Youth Olympics, and students throughout the city are preparing to compete. This free event will see students from grades 1 through 12 competing in games in a day of friendly competition. Events will include an inflatable obstacle course, tug-of-war, potato sack race, basketball free throw contest, and a sponge bucket challenge. Participation is free, but registration is required. You can sign up now at 29palms.org. The inaugural 29 Palms City Youth Olympics will be held on Saturday, April 12th at Lucky Park. And finally, if you are looking to do more on these longer and warmer days, the Mojave Desert Land Trust has new volunteer opportunities. Online news editor Robert Hayden joins us with the list.
This Tuesday, March 25th, there's a seed cleaning from 1:15 to 4 p.m. They'll be cleaning honey mesquite. They say this species requires the use of pliers and a lot of force to open the sticky pods. Gloves are recommended. It's a large compilation of several honey mesquite collections spanning over 10 years. Seats are limited. There are 2 stewardship days coming up, Tuesday, April 1st and Tuesday, May 6th. These are an opportunity to help MDLT natural resource technicians do habitat restoration on preserves located in the Morongo Basin through vertical mulching, sign and fence installation, property cleanup, and trash and invasive plant removal. The locations will vary depending on where the technicians need the most support. Activities can be moderately strenuous, with work that requires the ability to lift heavy objects and walk over uneven terrain. And they'll also be hosting free first aid and CPR classes for volunteers, with the first class on Thursday, April 24th. There'll also be classes in May and June as well. To volunteer, you need to get in touch with the Mojave Desert Land Trust. You can do so by emailing their volunteer program manager, Mackenzie Nelson, at mackenzie@mdlt.org, or visiting their website, www.mdlt.org. We'll have those links on our website as well. Reporting for Z107.7 News, I'm Robert Hayden.
That's our local news. Hear local news 7 times a day, 7 days a week at 7, 8, 9, noon, 4, 5, and 6. If you hear about news happening, let us know. Email us at tips@z1077fm.com. Reporting for the Morongo Basin News Leader, the award-winning Z1077 Local News, I'm News Director Jeff Harmatz.